Wondering,
Mhm.
why do you think the scientific community is still so resistant to this? Do you think it's fear or control, or are we just addicted to the material world and can't accept anything we
Yeah,
can't see?
yeah, that's the truth. The materialist scientists are engaged in using the senses, and they can only believe what comes through the senses. And as a result of that, what happened was that the church held on to the notion of what happens after life until the 16th century, when science began to discover that there is much more to life than they had realized. And the scientists then realized that it wasn't necessary to have what the church was giving. The church was giving all these things that were superstitions about gods and about things having to do with people's lives in the afterlife. And they said, that's all nonsense. We're not going to, don't believe that. And so then they went their merry way after that period of time and continued to develop that. And so today we are gripped in materialism. We don't have a state religion in the United States, but there is a state religion. It's called materialism. The schools teach materialism, the universities teach materialism. If you don't believe in materialism, then you can be scoffed at. So materialism now is the religion. And that's happened over the past 400 years. And we're now going beyond that. For the first time in humankind's history, we have stopped using religion. We have stopped believing the materialists. And we're beginning to realize now that there is much more to life than we thought was possible before. The 20th century broke that open with quantum mechanics. And quantum mechanics told us that consciousness has a much greater impact upon reality than we realized. And so now today are people who are talking who are called idealists, who believe that the basis of reality is consciousness. It isn't the material realm. And so that voice from science is telling people and telling the scientists that we are much more than simply the bodies and what is in the material realm, that there is more within our minds, there is more in a life after this life. And so science now is not catching up, but many scientists who have studied the data are realizing the fact that this is true, that there's much more to life than we realize. And so they are coming around. The hard-nosed scientists are not going to come around. What Max Planck said at the turn of the 20th century was that their minds are not going to be changed by changing the minds of the old guard, the old boors who are in the discipline now. What's going to happen is they're going to die, and then the young ones are going to come up and they're going to realize that that's true. And this is what's happening today. We have much more open-minded young people who understand what it is that we're saying. So that is where the revolution is going to take place. And that revolution then is going to be the third revolution. If we had one that was from religion into science, then this is going to be the revolution from science into an understanding of the afterlife and afterlife communication.
Excellent.